if you want to run a business in the way of long-term and sustainable, and as well in the way of building purpose as an aspect, as a pool where other people find their purpose in their why they're working with you every day, why they're waking up every morning earning and working 8 hours or 10 hours.
Hello, I'm your host, Aveline Clark, and this is the 6-Star Business Podcast, where we have conversations with amazing, incredible people all about what it takes to be 6-star, going beyond the status quo, doing things differently, and how they bring purpose, love, and impact into their businesses every day. And in today's episode, I met with Pascal Vida from Germany. Funnily enough, he's from the same town that my co-host, Corey Sebest, is from, so they had plenty to catch up on in the green room beforehand. It was a great conversation. Pascal started his entrepreneurship at 17 and broke the mold of his family's tradition of being lawyers and doctors. And what I love the most about this conversation is learning how he has applied all of the lessons that he's gone through along the way to his next venture and to where he is today. He's very conscious, he's very aware, and I just love how he brings humanity into his business. And I'll let you listen to what his business is today, but what really stood out for me was how he's all about creating an environment that other people actually feel good about and get meaning and joy from in their work. And really, he is a 6-star business owner in action. That's what I took from this. And there's a lot of gems and a lot to learn from him, to hear how he's gotten to this place. And it's just a really inspirational story. And he's a lovely person. I'm sure you're going to love this one with Pascal Vida. Hello, here we are. It's another episode. I am here with my co-host Corey and our guest Pascal. How are you doing today, Pascal?
Good. Thank you for having me here.
It's lovely to have you. I just learnt something in the green room, which is that you were born in the same city as Corey.
Yeah, surprisingly, it looks like. Small world in the end.
It is a small world, and you both launched into German, and I couldn't understand most of what you were saying. But I'm very excited and happy that you get to talk with someone who knows where you're from. It's always a nice feeling when you have that connection.
Absolutely, feel like home almost.
Yeah, almost. Well, let's get into this then, and I'd like to ask you a few questions just so we can get to know you a bit better. Could you let us know, first of all, where are you in the world now? Who do you serve? How do you serve them? And maybe something you like to do when you're not busy serving people.
At the moment I'm sitting in Brisbane since the last 2.5 years, and just started 11 months ago my own business with Promo Punks with my business partner Will. And we provide in the end for Australian, New Zealand businesses everything in regards promotional products, merch, and kind of relive. And we jump into this later, I guess, but relive at the moment kind of the founding life from scratch with all the pain and fun that it brings with it, to build a business from scratch. And more exciting for me is in a foreign country for me, different culture, different people, what has kind of its own spice into the entire recipe that I'm running at the moment.
Thank you. I look forward to drilling into more of what all of that entails. But and what's something you like to do outside of growing this very early startup?
Outside of that, I'm a big fan of tennis, and as well, I'm out of the generation where kind of poker came up, and especially in Europe. I know Corey can maybe relate to that back in the time, early 2000s, when poker became a trend. So I like poker. Have even some Australian friends here. We go a lot for ANP poker tournaments, and beside of that, have my dog here. Kind of settled my life within the last 6 years here in Australia, and I guess it's aside of the business was take a lot of time in your week. You kind of try to spend the time that left really conscious, and that's then really sport, taking care of myself, and try to be up to date with being healthy and running the business in the best way I possibly can.
I love hearing that. And normally I ask another question, but because you've mentioned this about, keeping healthy and conscious and up to date, I'd love to tap into that a bit more. What do you think is, the most important thing for you or another business owner or an entrepreneur to focus on to enable them to be at the top of their game, to enable them to actually operate, live, breathe, grow, whatever they want in their business, to their maximum capacity? What have you found?
I compared most of the time with a kind of a relationship that you go into with your business, or even as well kind of with the team that you build up, and to be the best in the best way to serve your team or your business is you need to look after yourself first before you can serve anyone else. And this way, it's even of course, I'm running the same guilt sometimes when I'm sitting on the couch trying to read something. Okay, I could do 100 things, 100 different other things. They may be directly for the business, but knowing, hey, looking after my physical and mental health in this moment is the fundament and ground on everything else can grow on. And if I don't take care of that, everything else falls over or will fall over. Nobody has fun, or I'm not serving my business or my team in this moment. I'm getting burned out and I'm not able to perform the best way I possible can if I'm up on the top with everything what it's related to taking care of myself.
So is that a reactive thing or is it a proactive thing?
It's in the end a proactive. You need to have a lot of discipline to set up yourself and your mindset running with that, because I did it back in Germany when I had my first business. I was running exactly the wrong way, what in the end cost as well my marriage, etc. So in the end was as well that way of running hard and working 100 hours a week and not really taking care of what life in the end is, because I'm spending lifetime on my business. So I need to know as well that this time is precious and investing it in the best way. And I'm only able to invest this time in the best way when I know I can perform the best way. And I need to be able to be in the actual physical and mental status to be that. And that's the good message behind is that means having time out, doing stuff that you like, that you can just switch off and enjoy everything else aside of work. Even it's your own business, there's still something else. And I guess that's what I learned as a healthy view and point of view of keeping this relative balanced look on what life and how work and how your person and everything around you is about. And I guess that helps me in the end as well to not overweight every aspect in my life, what keeps as well a certain balance and peace in all these aspects that they try to distract or try to pull on yourself, because everything is pulling left, right, everything. When you try to deliver something and something else comes across by taking away your focus, even this discipline in regards saying no to certain things is just possible when you have peace in mind and you're balanced in who you are and what you're doing. And again, now I would run in circles, but it helps you to being equal with everything what comes across and tries to distract you. And that's where it helps with being balanced and having this mental and physical balance in the end.
Absolutely love that. And you speak with such, I guess, a deep awareness and knowing, because you've clearly learned from your journey, the importance of this. You mentioned losing a marriage. Sometimes we do go through these hard knocks, these lessons, in order to teach us things. And clearly you've learned a lot, and you have such a high level of self-awareness, which is really attractive. It's really inspirational, I think. Just listening to you speak, I speak with a lot of different business owners, and not everybody has that level of self-awareness of what they need to do for themselves in order to be the best version of themselves, to show up, to create the best version of their business. So it's just a beautiful insight that you've brought out already in this conversation, especially it's been all about 6-star. And we can go down that track in a little bit, but I'd like to tap into and maybe peel back some layers, if that's okay, and ask you a bit about your journey. Like, what can you take us back and share a bit of your journey with me and Corey about what brought you to where you are today to do what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. It started pretty early, to be honest. I grew up in a family that was pretty lucky in regards. My mother's part of the family was all lawyers. My father's was all doctors for generation. And I was the first one who weren't that good in school to pursue the medical part or a medical path in Germany, because you need to have certain degrees to get to the schools and to universities to study that. And my grandpa was so disappointed and angry, and that I'm the firstborn who's not able to now or doesn't want to study medicine. But I had the lucky side that I was already pretty creative back in the time with designing and trying to serve family, friends with their business, just designing business cards or stuff like that. So that was kind of my first taste of, okay, how it is when you serve little services and people pay you for that. And that was kind of what hooked me in the end, where I say, oh, I want to do that. Like, I want to be there when people need certain services, and I can, aside of the product itself or the services itself, sounds maybe now a little bit stupid, but I can sell myself in regards, hey, I'm helping in the way I think I want to get helped when I would have this issue. And that's in the best way as possible. Of course, you have the actual business and strategic mind behind how you should come up and what you try to sell and how you should try to sell it, etc. But I guess this big aspect of having the control of the personality that you are behind every product and every service that you are offering, that was really attractive to me in how to pursue business. And that's kind of the red line that goes until today for me is, of course, with all the learnings across, I started my first business, official business, when I was 17, and my father was the one who went with the paperwork to the offices in Germany to register the business. And I had no idea of anything. So it was just really like, I knew I'm good in designing. I have a contact. I can create something nice for people. They want something in this direction. And when I went into university, I had my student colleagues, they were looking for jobs. So I was starting to give them project because I had enough to do and just hand it over and starting delegating jobs. But my fail back in this time was my first big learning is have your finances in control. I had no idea about bookkeeping, etc. So in the end, when I had my accountant who had a look into it, he said, "Oh man, what are you doing here? Just with moving money from A to B, however you please. That's not how it works, especially in Germany." So that was kind of my first learning. And my second thing then where I kind of really knew with studying media science with focus on psychology and economics, and combining that, there was kind of where I knew, okay, that will be my path in regards, if it's as a consulting or freelancer or as it's building a business, and as well with the aspect of building teams. And that became later a big aspect with my consulting job after I sold my business back in Germany that I started with 3 other guys. So that business was a small technology business where we created a platform for upselling tools for other e-commerce businesses. So saying you are offering the iPhone or any Samsung phone or whatever, and then you can add on certain review videos and certain price comparison, etc. Back in the time, it was hard to find reviews, so you need to Google, and then you found via Google some PDFs you need to pay for. So we try to find a way around how you can make for people as easy as possible to make a decision if they want to buy something. And then we figure out during the process or building this product, that's a product that we can white label and offer to store owners to match it with their product catalog, and then having a certain field or category in their product page to show, hey, these are the reviews, these are the aspects to buy this product with them. So that's where it kind of appeals really well in this time, and we grow really quick from just the 4 of us to 25 students and was 5 or 6 full employed people back in the time, a lot of interims as well. And that's where we had the chance then in the end as well. Again, luck, but that's all the time the journey that a lot of luck is going in there, that we were able to sell that. And that's where the point came for me to kind of figure out, okay, what now, and how can I, with the learnings that I were able to get in this young age, because I was mid and 20, to have the opportunity to share it with as well young founders and other young businesses and startups. And there where it's kind of came in is that I had a chance really to work more and more with fintechs, where I think, okay, marketing and fintech comes together. You have a certain type of people there as well sitting, where this lack of awareness, how to build and how to treat and build and treat a successful team is needed. So I can have more impact in this industry than in maybe some other ones. And especially young teams where there's no HR, etc. Everything is on the founder. They were happy to have someone who's coming in and understands what maybe will help them to build a team that has really a long-term goal, and as well is able to get out of the bed every morning because they're motivated, because they like working with the founder for certain goals. And I learned as well in this time as well, especially with my business back in the time that we sold, is having a clear definition of your actual vision and mission is with the product. So a lot of people come with the actual, the business model is blah, blah, blah. And the product is structured as X, Y, Z. But what I'm trying to achieve here for people, they're sitting in front of the screen that I'm talking to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where I kind of try to build this awareness. And that's what helps me now with the business we're rebuilding now, is with completely different parameters. They maybe are not in the first moment on the screen for every founder, to build the product after that. So I have the vision and build a mission based on that with the actual product or service that I try to get to the people. Because in this moment, it becomes way easier to really articulate and finalize the idea that I try to sell to my clients. And aside of that, you have the second docking station next to mission and vision, where you build up your team. Like in this, like everything runs around that, the product and the team. And when you can start getting this together, you have kind of this emotional and motivational connection to the product and to the business. And that comes automatically in handy as a founder, of course, or as a business owner. And through this journey, it was kind of the key points of learning how to build this team and how to connect it with your actual product and or service, what you try to get. And that's kind of 2 loose points. And this 2 loose points, what I just described, with building the vision that you have with it and connecting those 2 points together, that's I deeply believe is the actual drive why a business will be successful or not.
It's really interesting. And my first question is, so how did you achieve that so well? What was the magic ingredient that you found that worked to create the connection between those two things, the vision, mission, and the product to the team?
It's not being dreamy. I learned be honest and transparent to yourself in the first place, to describe why are you doing this? Why you want to sit down now for the next 10 years again for a certain product or service, and why is it worth it that you invest your time into it? And based on that, you will be able to create this vision that you have behind. Because without that, you can't even keep yourself up every morning to sit on the desk and do your work, because you will get hard times. You need to get through, and you need to have this fixed star that it will play out and it will work out, because that's the actual goal I'm running with. It's not making money or any conversion rates or actual lifetime value, etc., etc., etc. It's not all this of the aspects. This is just tools later to help you to keep the ship on the actual direction. But if you are not able to describe this vision to yourself in the first point and being honest, yep, that's really something I can identify with, then I guess you have the first part, the first seed where okay, that will build the actual basement for these two parts to connect, meaning the actual product and service and whatever characteristic and structure and shape it will have, and the finding the right team and the right people behind that can push this entire structure and move it forward to something that okay, hey, I have still this fixed star with the orientation. I know I can define it for my team. I can define my product based on that. And then you kind of don't run into the struggle what a lot of founders, and especially when you have not just one founder, when you have 2 or 3 founders in a business, where all the time this clash is coming into. Most of the business are not failing because of financial issues or whatsoever. It's really like because the people are failing in itself, how they work together. If they work together, do they have the same goals? Because they're not in itself transparent and direct to define why we're doing that. Underlying, there may be completely different reasons. And if you're not coming up with that in the beginning, especially with 2 or 3 founders, and that's what I realized back in Germany as well, when I worked with younger startups, there's such a big gap in certain ideas how to run the business, where it should be in the future, and what is the goal with that. That's where I guess most of the time the failing comes in place, because that just plays out that non-spoken issue just plays out in this little things they popping up in the daily work together, and people misunderstand each other. Why is this happening? Why he is trying to get in this direction when we talked about something different yesterday? And this kind of not understanding each other is most of the time because there's not really a reflecting and honest deep jumping in. Hey, why are we doing this here? What is the actual goal with that? Just being a CEO and having a business card where you can write your name with CEO on it and dreaming of certain exit volume or salaries or whatever the reason could be, and especially in younger age when businesses get started by young entrepreneurs, that's not the actual setup how a business will and can play out, and especially its full potential. And of course, sometimes it works, and when luck is there, when maybe the right people in the right time, and you get fundings, etc., then you have it's more more buffer in regards having this wrong ideas and developing it during the process. But even that is most of the time not saving this type of businesses.
It's such a good insight, Pascal. Was there a particular moment in the journey that gave you like a lesson or something difficult along the journey that gave you that learning, or did you just happen to fall into it by chance and just go, oh, this works?
No, that was definitely was a as it was with back in the time the business. I had started with we started with 4 founders, and we came to the point where we needed to decide to buy out, kick out one of our co-founders, because the actual direction and idea that we had behind the business weren't congruent with what he was thinking. But getting to the point that we figure out there's this underlying gap or misunderstanding in how we want to pursue this business, that was a painful way to get there, because we didn't understood, okay, what is happening here, and why do we come up into this actual struggle all the time to define where we want to be and how we get there, etc. So that was one key moment where I kind of realized how important it is, because I was sitting in the eye of the storm, how to really be honest and clear in what you're trying to pursue. But as well along the actual journey with working with other founders and business owners, when I started with the consulting part, is the question, why are you doing that? 90% of the people couldn't answer the question. Like, yeah, I started the business and one customer came to the other, where I say, yeah, that's lucky man, good that you had this impact at the beginning. But today, why are you getting out of bed every morning today? Yeah, because the people are here, yeah, but for you, why? Like, and this question is kind of sometimes on so often an endless circle, same question asking and other or different answers coming back, but it's not answering the question itself. Where I kind of get the idea of is most of the time then as well the issue why the team has an issue to being orientated in the business, or have the orientation in the business of, why are we doing this here? Is this just for earning my next pay slip and we need to sell and keep up the products? In larger enterprises, again, we're not talking about this type of business where you kind of grow out of that, but everything what is really in a starting phase, and everything what is under 100 people, where we have this still familiar and family vibe of business owner who started the business and tries to keep his people motivated and running for the same goal. That's where I see a lot of gap of understanding of people, also their understanding of themselves, about what is their driving aspect of building this business and pursuing growth. Because just building a business by itself and losing the actual purpose why we're doing it leads in the end to the issue that you have a lot of people leaving the business, you have a lot of fluctuation in your team, and that goes down to management level. When I can't, as a business owner, not take my seniors and execute CMOs, CPOs, etc., with it, and an understanding why we run the entire enterprise. That's where I guess it plays a big part of getting the message across. And if you don't have the message clear to yourself, how you get the message to someone else who should help you and support you building your business.
What an interesting experience. First with your co-founders, and I've heard that before. Sometimes people go into business with a few others, and at some point it cracks because it wasn't aligned on a purpose level first, or that intention wasn't 100% congruent across all people. But you also witnessed it, through your consulting experience, which would have been like a validation, I guess, of how important it is to have that.
Yeah, I think as well, like when I talk to younger entrepreneurs as well, like it's kind of they get into this panic mode when they kind of realize something is wrong. Where I think, hey, it's not too late. You can start your business. You have your ideas maybe to start something, but they as well come really quick without really able to articulate what is the underlying issue here, to still build it up. What will help them to really get something on the street that has drive and has power to survive through all the issues that are coming up. Of course, there are other aspects that play into it, but talking about the actual fundamentals, if someone gets this issue or gets this kind of itchy feeling of, okay, why I'm doing this here again, that's where I believe you will get to this question anytime when you start a business, sometimes earlier, sometimes a bit later, but this question is coming up every time when I talk to entrepreneurs, every time when I, even to older business owners, they were running and blaming themselves. Okay, I can't keep the team together, or I need to change my product, services, or business model all the time. Of course, you need to set up your idea around economic impact, etc., etc., etc. But it's, if you lose the identity in itself, and with you into your own enterprise, into your business for your team, it will in the end not be able to survive in the way how you would pursue a business where you think, okay, hey, that makes sense because I really want it that way. You can have a drifting ship on the water. Yep, it will go in the direction and it will go in the other direction. It's still movement. But if you don't have a goal where you can really have the steer in the hand and navigate to the point where you want to be, then again, over longer or shorter time, you will hit the cliff. And if you don't have the actual goal and the identity that you want to put into this business, then you will not succeed in the end. That's like my theory, and as well practical proof in how I experience with other businesses. But again, in the same moment, I realized, well, you can change. You're able, even when you run a business already, you can change. Even you maybe realize it later that you need something like that.
I hope everyone listening just realized the gold that Pascal just gave us. And if you didn't hear that, just rewind about 5 minutes and play it again.
Sorry.
It was almost like you gave us the keys to the kingdom, right? You just said it's the one thing, and if you don't have it, then you're not going to succeed. And yeah,
in the end, like it's well a decision in the end. You can be a floating boat, but it's more if you want to really run a business with purpose and with an idea behind it, you try to follow and you try to stick to it. And it doesn't mean be stubborn and being fixated on certain things. Yes, you can be flexible in your ideas, and you need to be flexible, and especially the last 3 years, so many businesses need to change the business models to survive. But even there, you just can really succeed in the part where you can identify with. And it sounds so romantic in certain ways, but just running by your idea of generating enough cash, they will not help to really build what you try to serve. And then maybe we run now already in the absolute in the question, or a philosophical question already, why you want to start your own business, or why you want to be a business owner. Like myself, I want to be a business owner because I want to create an environment where I can employ people. They see purpose in what they do and invest 8 hours or 9 hours or 10 hours a day into it. What is a lot of time and a big part in their life. I want to do that because I want to build something that has as well purpose for them, because I can communicate the actual vision that I have, the actual purpose that I try to achieve with this business, and not just a payslip generating monster, and that's it. So that's well the setup of your own goals in life, I guess, comes back to that.
I've never heard it spoken or described like that. Was it a payslip generating monster?
Yeah. Monster may be a bit hard, but you can't use anything else.
So what was it business or that brought you to Australia?
No, I came. I never talked about really a public way, but anyway, my first purpose were to come because after signing the divorce paper, I had a chance to say, okay, first of all, of course, with the financial benefit of selling a business and now being free, I was just saying, okay, I sold my stuff, and you will not believe it, but I didn't speak one word English back in the time when I came to Australia. So I was running through. My co-founders were the one who were in chats or when it was about reading papers or whatever. I need to trust them that they translate it for me in a proper way. Of course, I can use Google Translator in a certain way, and I could work through it. But I had to because back in the time in school, now, of course, my family were really hard. Okay, you will become a doctor. So I had French in the first time as first language, and as the second language, I had Latin because I want to be a doctor. So, but there was no reason in the end for that. But yeah, so I was sitting there without English in the end, and I was working for one fintech in this time. Deposit solutions, and they got more and more international, and people, were speaking English. So when people came into the kitchen and was standing there, and I knew, okay, this is a English speaking person, I was the first one who disappeared out of the kitchen because, again, no small talk with me. So I was sitting there and trying to get my way, and I said, nah, it can't be. And so got my stuff and jumped into the cold water. I came to Australia. Perth was my first station for the first 2 months, and it's like yesterday. It's was sitting in the car sitting on the wrong side in the car, driving on the wrong side of the street, and didn't know what is happening. And if you have told me 6.5 years ago, we're sitting here now, and I'm speaking to you in more or less fluent broken English. I was like, you're crazy. And my own business, you're more crazy. So that's was an exciting time the last 6 years. So that it play out like that, I had no idea. But yeah, now I'm sitting here.
I love the spirit of adventure that you've been on. And obviously, it was a big challenge to learn English and say, hey, let's just move to Australia without speaking English. What better way to learn, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing was as well, like coming to Australia was my first thought, okay, hey, I'm young now and young anyway, but young now and can get to Australia because I maybe never will be there again, like because it's so far. And it's funny, like you realize how not far Australia is. Even of course, you fly 24 hours, but this 24 hours, even the first time flying that, it feels long. But doing the second and third and fourth and fifth time, you realize it's not that far. It's absolute doable. And all of a sudden, the world became so small with realizing and flying back and forward to Germany and Australia. Yeah, it's not that a big jump, and I guess that's with a lot of experience in life anyway. When you do the step once, and you're there, all of a sudden you think, oh, it didn't hurt that much. So why I was so afraid of that? And I guess this type of question is everyone experienced that once, twice, or multiple times in life. But that was kind of my experience in this case with realizing, if you come to a point, and especially in business, to get the bridge back to the business, but when you get to a point where you kind of get uncomfortable and kind of slightly scared and not really sure, I never did. That's kind of where I kind of try to manifest it for me is if I get this itchy, fearful, scary feeling, do it. Because that's exactly where you get out of your comfort zone and you just kind of increase your actual field of taking in life and experience way more than you were able before. And that's where I think, of course, don't be stupid, don't jump down the cliff. That's not what I'm saying, but having the opportunity of getting this uncomfortable, because you realize for yourself, and when you're honest to yourself, saying, yeah, this is just because I'm leaving my comfort zone here, do it. And you will have failure, you will have issues, you will have problems along the way, but to get to the point to understand what life can offer you is only through this way of leaving comfort zone. And I know it sounds again really romantic in the way of how I try to describe it, but and I hate calendar sayings. But unfortunately, this one is true.
I mean, listening to the story pretty carefully, and what pops out is your confidence in and the belief in yourself from 17 years or even younger years onwards. Yeah, coming from a family of doctors and lawyers, and then standing up for your passion to serve others, and not being caught in this hamster wheel of expectations of the so-called lawyer, medical doctor families, and just going and pursuing your own pathway, yeah, which is outside of the common pathway. And then also not being too much influenced by the conditioning, yeah, and limiting yourself in thinking and in actions, yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been traveling 16,000 kilometers away from a very lovely city we both came from, yeah, so Düsseldorf. And so how important has been resilience for you? So this can-do mindset, because as you mentioned, you have been experiencing a lot of setbacks. Yeah, you got co-founders who wanted to go south where all the others wanted to go whatever, west. And how did you develop this can-do attitude and the strong belief into yourself, what you're doing? Is that came through your experience? Was it always a part of you were able to identify very early in your life, or?
Yeah. Yeah, so to be honest, yes, it's started already in the childhood. Like I was not good. I was bad in school. My dad was good in school. My mom was good in school. When my siblings got into school, they were all good in school. My sister never needed to learn. My brother never to learn. I had in the peak, I had 3 tutors after school, in Latin, in math, and in French. I was worse. I was so bad. I was panicking in front of tests. I couldn't sleep. Everything, like it started really in the childhood was already fighting through that I kind of meet the idea of what my family was thinking I should be, and I was really already in the point of, yeah, I need to fulfill this picture what they try to have on me. What was never the case, but the communication between children and parents as well is sometimes difficult, because kids just want to achieve what they think their parents want for them. So a big thing of going from the primary school into the higher schools in Germany, you need to have a certain height of degree. Fighting that was already, it started in primary school. So it was a hard fight really from the beginning, and there were a lot of step backs. And when I kind of realized, okay, I can't run in the way how my family wants to have it, I kind of, even it was painful, I need to let go this picture. And this let go of something that you were following as a deep belief that you want to and you will achieve, you need to achieve, because everyone thinks of you, you need to achieve that. Letting go that was hard. And there was a learning and struggling time where I kind of were running already in a young age without the identity that my parents and my family was supporting. Even my parents were supportive in the way of, hey, you do whatever you want and we are there for you. But deep, you think, okay, I didn't meet their expectations. I didn't meet what they were picturing where I should be. And until the point where I sold the business, where they realized, okay, wow, there's something that goes, or especially for my grandpa, what is a different define of success, what they never had in their family, because they all lived and worked in the jobs as well. They grew up again in families where doctor and lawyer, that's a pretty straight path how you pursue your career, and there are not big surprises. But then me not running with that and learning, okay, I can't follow this path because, again, system wise, wasn't able to go to university. My school degrees weren't good enough, etc., etc., etc. Where I lived through the struggle and needed to get out of that and need to come back on my feet to know and to define where I can go, what gives me the identity of how to work out how my life looks like and how I could picture how this life could look like. And this phase, and again, from childhood to teenager time, where I then started my business with 17, that was a hard time. So I think this young age of living through this hard experience is helping me to be the one I'm today. Even that there's a lot of gap between, but childhood and teenager time is a really, really has a lot of impact of your personality and how you evolve and how you develop. And in the end, now I'm looking back and I'm grateful for that, to be honest. Even it was a really painful time. And when someone asked me, how was your childhood? I said, yeah, I never had financial issues, thanks to my parents, but it was a hard time. And recognizing that and realizing that's the reason why I'm who I'm today, I wouldn't change it.
Have you got any type of mentors, coaches who have been with you through your
No.
experiences, or
No.
you did it totally on your own?
No. I never had this type of picture of idol or whatever. I had just once in my life a poster on my wall. It was from Jürgen Klinsmann. It was a German soccer player. But that was the first and last time that I had a poster of someone on my wall. But I never had any mentors or any personalities. I was thinking, okay, I want to be like that, or I want to follow like that. No, never.
It's really fascinating hearing more and more about your journey and what's helped shape you as a person today. I'm wondering about your current business.
Yeah.
How did that come about? How long have you been in it? Do you have other business co-founders in that? Share with us a bit about Premier Punks.
Yeah. The Promo Punks, we started now 11 months ago. That's William or Will and myself. We met at our old employer, and we kind of had the right fit. We kind of was this instant understanding, especially how we want to build a business and how we want to build a team. And especially for this industry, like the promotional industry, I don't want to jump into too deep for that, but it's a really, really, really rough industry, and especially the business how we build it. We are working and we will work mainly with salespeople. So the business model in the end looks like we are helping in Australia and New Zealand, and later as well, hopefully outside of APAC, businesses to generate to create their own branded merch and promotional products for the events, exhibitions, team welcome packs for your new employees, etc., etc., etc. So that's where we have the chance to support businesses to even build a different culture around a certain product. What is great for me in the first place. But on the other side as well, and that's where with Will it's amazing to work, is that we have this understanding of, okay, how do we want to build this business, and especially with all the morals and ideas of the vision that we have behind it, and as well the chance again as a business owner or as a entrepreneur to build an environment for people. They experience something completely different in this industry because the industry is really rough, where we are able now, we have a different concept of how to build this business in this industry, of how we can manage expectations, how we can manage involvement and development of our team members. And that's why with Will together, I found really a good business partner that I can blindly trust. And we have as well the kind of perfect complementary skill set to run that way, how we run it today. And yeah, we, again, just 11 months started, and we may hitting already 7-figure in the first year. So let's see.
That's fantastic. How important has all of the learnings been up to date, before starting Promo Punks? How important have all of those nuggets and the wisdom that you've learnt been in ensuring that this business is started in the right way?
I guess we wouldn't be here then. Like the parts of the from the simple fact, as a simple factual aspect of how to set up a business, the business structure, financial structure, the setup of how we structure the team, etc., 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 how we work with suppliers, how we manage suppliers, how we actual set up the business in the way of the communication, marketing, etc. All this aside, I guess we wouldn't be here, and especially as Will would be a completely other story, but he has as well had his up and downs, and especially he has well entrepreneur background. With his experience, we both this type of branded kits where we have had our up and downs, win and fails. And I guess the big learning here is, or the big aspect why Promo Punks already run so well after 11 months is because we had the share on our fails. So I guess without that, with all the experience from the past, we both wouldn't be here and we wouldn't run the business so successful how we do it at the moment.
That is really exciting. It's exciting to hear. So you're at 11 months now, a month away from the 12-month anniversary, the 1-year birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
I look forward to checking in with you and hearing, how you went with your targets and how that first year's been. I've got a question, and it's one that I ask all guests, and that is, what does being 6-star mean to you?
6-star for me, especially experiencing how I told you now in the last few minutes with seeing how other business are running and how they try to run and how they manage their team and how they try to group the right people around them, is the actual mindset of why I'm doing it and who do I want to involve. So these are kind of the two aspects when you can't define or answer this two type questions as a real aspect, as you as well say how my finance should look like, how my strategy for marketing looks like, how my business model looks like, etc. All what is playing in there. If you don't have that, I guess then you miss the point of trying to qualify as a 6-star business, because it will come up as one of the fundamental questions that you ask yourself and your business partners in the end, if you want to run a business in the way of long-term and sustainable, and as well in the way of building purpose as an aspect, as a pool where other people find their purpose in their why they're working with you every day, why they're waking up every morning earning and working 8 hours or 10 hours. I think without these two identity questions, you will not get to the point that you can really say you can build a 6-star business.
I love it. I like the way that you've described that. And it comes from so much experience and knowledge and, hardships along the way. So it's been a learned thing for you. And it's so lovely to hear you talk that way, because it's something that we believe in. And that's what 6-star, it's definitely what 6-star for me encompasses. So thank you for validating it and speaking it in your language. Every guest is different, has a different view on it. I really love the way that you have described it, and it just resonates really strongly.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have a couple more questions. I know we're almost at the top of the hour. I could keep talking to you, Pascal, but one thing I like to ask my guests is, what is a consistent piece of feedback that you receive from customers? If you were to think back over the last 11 months, you've obviously done well. You've got hopefully some very happy clients dealing with you and your partner and your team. What's some feedback that you've heard over and over again about what you do?
That's pretty easy. That's really understanding. Like when customer comes back, or you saw me, is what we tell, what William and I have, and as well try to get to our team down, is see the customer in what could appear, or when you get to know this person, what are the issues? You're serving every day with every customer someone different who is just a human being sitting behind the display and is trying to do his best job as possible. So getting there and to try, I'm not saying trying to read their mind, but be clear in your communication and give them not just the feeling, give them an understanding of you understand them. And then better ask them 1, 2, 3 questions more, because they know, okay, you take care of them. You really try to understand this person, and this person sees, feels seen. And I guess this is one major point, and that's where we get from our customers this: hey, yes, you understand, and yes, you see me. And this is kind of, even if it's maybe not all the time articulated in the actual way, you can read it between the lines. And that's where I guess we have our winning point, that we know customers are just coming back because they feel seen and they feel valued in the way of with the issues and problems. And even if it's sometimes a not understanding of the actual issue, that I come back to them and say, yep, you maybe don't understand, but I take care of you in the way of make it possible for you to understand. And don't make it to a big thing, because again, I see the customer and I understand you. And that's where I believe, especially in such a service orientated business where we are, that's one of the key points. And that's pretty easy to answer. So it's really understanding in the end, where you feel understand.
How great to hear that. And it's an emotional thing. It's not money. It's not a tangible thing. It's not anything like that. It's you see me, you understand me. And that, as humans, that's what we want fundamentally, don't we?
Exactly. Like that's where I believe you can definitely get to the point where you know, okay, someone is willing to interact with you, because it doesn't matter what the how you said, whatever financial benefit it would be in the end. If I can't work with you, or I don't feel that you don't want work with me, you will just be able to lose this customer with your first job or after your first job, and that's it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I've got another last question. Sorry. What does your ideal future look like? You know, what you're creating. You've talked about having a purpose and a why for being in business. So can you describe to me what that ideal world in the future looks like that you're helping to build?
Also at the moment, when you ask me now and today what my ideal picture is to really grow with Promopunks, a business that has a impact on the industry, but as well on the actual treatment and thinking of the people that are working in this industry. Because we see a lot of burned people, and especially when you would ask my business partner, Will, who is really the sales guy on the front, who experienced with a lot of colleagues and friends, they got burned. To really build something where people know, I see with Promopunks a business that has the value of I invest my lifetime on or invest time into it. And that's what I really hope to achieve in the end with Promopunks, to build a successful business, of course, financially as well, but in the first place to build this nice oasis of where people can come there thirsty and want to really achieve something in life, and I'm building the platform. And with Will at the moment, we are really on a good way where we can build this platform for people. They're good in their jobs, but maybe didn't get on the right stage yet. And that's where I would try with Promopunks, and hoping to get there in the next 5 years, that we have a good running business that gives people really the chance to achieve everything for their private, but as well for their business life.
Love it. What a great vision. Corey, have you got any final questions for Pascal?
No, actually, just a remark that I love how you described how you build the connection to customers. Literally, there is a slogan I use on my homepage, which is also describing my approach, which is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what you said, everything comes down to people and relationships. And you sell through the connection, yeah, by understanding what the challenges are and tuning into that person and really coming up with an offer. And so I would say that one of the main ingredients of your vision, while you guys are building a vision, is the customer around whom you are building a vision, which becomes a long-lasting vision, yeah, with a success which you have been proven over the last decades. And that can only be sustainable, right? Rather than focusing on, I want to earn $1 million or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks
absolutely.
for sharing that, Pascal.
Yeah. No worries. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I totally agree with Corey. What a great insight and background and experiences that you've had. Okay, last question. I promise. Promise it's the last one.
It's fine.
Is there a piece of advice or some kind of nugget or takeaway that you'd like to leave our listeners with today?
I think how I said already in the beginning is asking yourself honestly, what are you trying to pursue when you start a business? Or when you run a business at the moment, ask yourself honestly where you try to be and how. And I guess this is the way of getting to the core of the actual purpose that you run at the moment. And if you need to tweak some aspects of it to get to the point where you maybe really, really want to be. And I guess it sounds so easy, but being honest to yourself is hard. Is sometimes really a hard work, and sometimes I'm struggling. And I guess to get this understanding and having the patience with yourself, and still not letting go this question of, okay, why I'm doing that here, and what is the actual purpose with all this enterprises, all the time that I'm investing here. I guess when you have this answer, it's the next step of getting people on board and being motivated and following you without any questions. And I'm not questioning people, but people that really believe in you and believe in what you're trying to achieve, because that aligns with their goals as well. That just comes with it automatically. And that's where I guess when people see you have a leader who is clean and in balance with himself, people have no problem to go with you and follow you, and they can trust you and know where to go with you, and as we're willing to invest way more than you ask for. And to get to the point to get these people on board, again, you need to ask you these questions first.
Brilliant. Deep, sincere, authentic, so many ways to describe it. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Pascal, for sharing everything today. It's just been an absolute joy having you. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to hearing how you go for the 1 year birthday in a month.
I'll keep you updated. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Pascal.
Thank you, Corey.